elaborate with me for a moment. Let me get my papers here. I once dated this guy who told me, "I love you, but I'm not in love with you." It was harsh. He said this because when we were first dating, he didn't feel butterflies. That fluttery feeling was missing. He based his level of love for me off of a feeling. And I can laugh at this now because I know it all worked out. Spoiler alert, he developed those elusive butterflies, and we are about to celebrate 20 years of marriage this year. Thank you, honey. He gave me permission to poke fun at him today because there is an important implication here that drives a lot of our behavior and our relationships. We think that love is just a feeling or something that comes from a feeling, and I'm going to challenge this idea today. English is woefully inadequate when referring to love. Love is a word thrown around so freely and is used to express so many different feelings and ideas. I love him. I love ice cream. I feel loved. I'd love to come, and so on. Love is often reduced to a romantic attachment or fleeting emotions. Our ideas and expectations around love often leave us with a lot of confusion and even hurt. I'd like to offer a deeper, more powerful idea of love, one that transcends, one that is abundant, and one that can heal. What is love really? Can love be unconditional and conditional? Can love be present regardless of situation, person, or gifts given and received? From a Buddhist perspective, there is only one kind of love to strive for, true love. And that love is a part of the Buddhist path that leads to ultimate freedom and happiness, like we talked about in our loving kindness meditation with the children in the song. In Christianity, they have a word that is close, which is agape, a non-sexual love that is non-conditional and is not concerned with yourself. It is easy to love things we see as good. The cute animal, the rosy-cheeked baby, a dear friend, our partner, when they haven't done something to upset us. But what about those times when our friend or partner has upset us? Do we withhold our love? What about the stranger on the street? The stranger across the world? What about the person that has harmed you? What about a person in a position of power that breeds hate and discord among people, spreading lies and even wars, starting wars? Can we feel love for them as well? Do they deserve love? This is the challenge. Buddhism says yes. Love can heal in very difficult situations and with very difficult people. Let's talk about how. Love in Buddhism contains specific elements that guide us and help us remember how to love ourselves and others regardless of who they are, our relationship to them, how they think, or how they act. Let me first share what Buddhism says is not true love. Love is not attachment, which is grasping onto someone or something for fear of losing it, or expecting something from another person. Such phrases as, I need him, or if she loved me, she would, ... This way of thinking is not love. It is the ego, longing for reassurance of our own worthiness and lovability. Love is not desire. That puppy is so cute, I must have it. Or, ooh, they're looking good, right? Desire is not love. It is a fleeting feeling that can sometimes be very strong. True love is always available and is limitless. It can be given and received regardless of a moment's feelings. Love is not an act that takes away freedom. Buddhist master Thich Nhat Hanh often repeated that love is freedom. If we engage in our relationships expecting a person to meet our needs and cater to our fears, we have not shown them true love. So here's what Buddhism says love is. True love is a gift, something you give without any expectation of anything in return. True love has 4 qualities called the 4 limitless qualities or 4 immeasurables, because these qualities are so abundant and have no bounds. These 4 qualities are loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. Loving kindness in Buddhism is called metta, which is a wish for our own and for others' happiness, well-being, safety, and peace of mind. True love contains the wish of metta. The second quality of true love is compassion. We must care about our suffering and the suffering of others through acceptance and understanding. We must accept experiences for what they are, experiences, not balloon them out into bigger problems or ignore them and shove them way down. We must meet them with an open heart, and we must try to understand. The third quality of true love is joy. True love happens when we are genuinely happy for others, when we join in the celebration of their success and we want them to succeed. And let me be clear, we want everyone to succeed in achieving wisdom, true happiness, health, and freedom, not in achieving anything that harms another or causes discord among people. Lastly, in true love, we must have equanimity, meaning giving loving kindness, compassion, and joy unconditionally, whether we know the person or not, whether we care for the person or not, whether we like them or not. The Buddha taught these 4 qualities of love, and although it makes love seem easy and straightforward, in practice, it is really quite a challenge to put into actions. We often feel very justified in our lack of caring for another person. We tell ourselves it's okay to hate them because they are hurting us. But this is a confusion. We are only hurting ourselves, and it does not bring about creating a more peaceful world. Practicing true love is a muscle we need to work daily and in every moment. I'd like to share a personal story about how I worked to heal a hard relationship with true love. During a Buddhist retreat I once attended, the teacher led our group in a forgiveness meditation. To this day, it stands out as one of the most powerful and healing moments I've experienced. We were first set to forgive ourselves, which was a feat in and of itself, and slowly worked up to picturing someone that had done us harm, directly or indirectly, and offering them the gift of our forgiveness. The person I pictured was someone that I had a very difficult personal relationship with, and I had felt so hurt in this relationship that I truly felt like I hated this person. My heart was so closed to this person out of that hurt and out of a way to protect myself from further harm. My heart was so closed that I could not fathom forgiving them for the things they had done to me. But this was a person that was going to be a part of my life for the foreseeable future, and holding on to this hatred caused me quite a bit of stress and unhappiness. Our interactions were strained and sometimes explosive. Could I possibly forgive him and move forward? Through the process of this meditation, I was able to remember a core reality, that this person was a person, just like me. Not some devil or sinister character in a nefarious plot to destroy my life. This was a person, a very troubled person who had their own difficult relationships and experiences in the past. They had become enslaved to their own mind and emotions, becoming so afraid and confused that they lashed out at others as a way of coping. Through the meditation, I was guided to focus on the person and take myself out of the equation. I was encouraged to care about their suffering and try to understand it. I was encouraged to wish them to be free of their suffering and to find that inner peace. I was also encouraged to imagine this person as a child, which is sometimes the easiest way to remember that we all start out as good. By remembering this person's humanness and inner goodness, and that their actions are not the same as who they actually are on the deepest part of themselves, my heart and heart began to soften. From that seed of connection, human to human, there was now space for me to practice the 4 immeasurables. I have to continually practice keeping my heart open to this person. And to be honest, I've been working on this for about 25 years. I may keep my distance physically at times, but I can both hold them and send them metta, care about them, hold my heart open while also holding my boundaries. This is hard work and it takes time, but it is the right work. Our interactions are now much smoother, and I have developed a tenderness for this person that allows me to see their growth, to see their good works, and to even at times feel grateful for them. This is the type of love that Buddha spoke about. True love, love that heals. So I ask you today, do you think that our thoughts and our actions determine who we are? Buddha taught that no. People's beliefs and actions are separate from their core identity. Why? Because we can change our thoughts and our actions. In psychology, they call this cognitive fusion, when we take a person and their actions and we mold them together to be the same thing. This helps us feel like there's a clear good and bad, forgetting altogether that everyone, including ourselves, are capable of great harm and great good. Buddhists believe that everyone has Buddha nature. All living beings already have a pureness and a goodness within themselves. Our thoughts, speech, and actions are things we do, and they come with all sorts of consequences, but they do not change our inherent goodness. So if we are able to understand this distinction, we can love ourselves while also wanting to change our thoughts, change our actions, and do better next time. We can still love someone else by sending them metta, compassion, and joy with equanimity while still disagreeing with them, while still setting wise and appropriate boundaries with them, while still holding them responsible for their actions. Both things can be true. I want you to think of the worst villain you can, okay? Past or current, it's kind of easy right now, right? A leader or a criminal. Someone that has done incredible harm. Imagine this person. Do you think they are worthy of love? If not, what happens? They cross a boundary where they are no longer worthy of love. Having that boundary makes everything fall apart. Why? When we've drawn an invisible line in the sand, we've created a circle of who is worthy and who is not. This mental categorizing hardens us and gives us permission to judge and to fuel our anger and our hate for things we don't like while feeling justified for it, ignoring completely the consequences. We stop thinking about these people as people and begin thinking of them as objects, not caring what happens to them, or even wishing them harm. We all have done this. Once we've done this to one person or a group of people, it's easier to do it to the next and the next and the next. And over time, we will find more and more people that don't fit into our circle of worthiness. Our circle gets smaller and smaller. If we don't agree with them, we push them out and feel validated in doing so. Now, think that everyone is doing this, creating their own little bubbles of worthiness and acceptance, and what happens if you fall outside their circle? Whether it's something you said or did, your political or social ideas, the way you look, where you came from, your economic status, your sexual orientation, your gender identity? Is it fair or right to exclude and to be deemed unworthy? Aren't we all worthy of love, regardless of these things? Circles of exclusiveness become smaller and smaller until it is so small we are living in a world where everyone feels alone, alienated, scared, and defensive. Is this the type of world we want to live in? I think a majority of us would say no. One of Buddha's most famous quotes was, "Hatred cannot cease by hatred alone. Only love, non-hate, can do this." We just celebrated Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and he famously said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." Do we believe these words? If so, it's a challenge and a call to put them into action. And it's vital for our health and happiness. A more peaceful and loving world begins with a more peaceful and loving heart. Now, I know what you might be thinking. There are people out there that do really, truly horrible things. Do we accept this? Absolutely, unequivocally, no. We can hold people accountable and put up boundaries with them while also keeping our heart open to them as a person still worthy of love. If you are able to love someone that has hurt you, you are in a better position than you were before. And what would that be like? To love a person but not their actions? What would be different? What would it be like going into a confrontation with someone, not with ill will and anger about what you disagree with, but with a mindset of wishing them well? You have opened your circle. A secular book that discusses this idea is The Anatomy of Peace, Resolving the Heart of Conflict, which I highly recommend you go get and read as soon as possible, because it's fantastic. The author states, "If we are going to find lasting solutions to difficult conflicts and external wars that we find ourselves in, we first need to find our way out of the internal wars that are poisoning our thoughts, our feelings, and attitudes towards others. If we can't put an end to the violence within us, there is no hope for putting an end to the violence without. In every moment, we choose to see others either as people like ourselves or as objects. They either count like we do or they don't. Our thoughts and behaviors really do make a difference in those around us. Sending love matters. From a scientific point of view, there is a body of research that looks into a social phenomenon called emotional contagion, which has found that one person's emotions and related behavior directly triggers similar emotions and behaviors in the other person. It has found that not only does it influence the person directly in front of you, but the people that they interact with. So, in our angry and divided world, how do we work toward peace within ourselves so that we may create outer peace? Spread that from one person to the next to the next. You can start with yourself. If you are hurting and feel your heart close up, say to yourself, I care about this suffering. May I be free of this suffering. Send true love to yourself. No judgments, no criticisms, pure acceptance for who you are and how you showed up in this world. Remember your inherent nature of goodness. Trust that goodness. Trust your worthiness and your lovability. If you see someone who is hurting or lashing out, hurting others, say to yourself, they are suffering. I care about their suffering. May they be free of that suffering. It is easy to love what is good. It is hard to love what hurts and feels wrong. Acknowledging another person's suffering opens our hearts to give love, to share in their joys, and to share and give love unconditionally. So as we approach February, the month of love and Valentine's Day, remember that gifts are fun and can create great joy and even strengthen our connections with other people. Our real goal is to show and give true love. We're going to end by singing one of my favorite hymns, Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. Although this is a traditional Christian song, I want you to view it through the eyes of love. Love being the faith, the grace, and the hope. Love being the place of arrival. I'd like to read the words first before we sing, and I invite you to allow these words to enter into your heart. Come, thou fount of every blessing, tune our hearts to sing thy grace. Streams of mercy never ceasing, is this compassion? Call for songs of loudest praise, joy. While the hope of life's perfection fills our hearts with joy and love, teach us ever to be faithful. May we still thy goodness prove, meta, unconditionally. Come, thou fount of every vision, lift our eyes to what may come. See the lion and the young lamb, hold everyone in our hearts, dwell together in thy home. Hear the cries of war fall silent, in us and outside of us. Feel our love glow like the sun. When we all serve one another, then our heaven has begun. Come, thou fount of inspiration, turn our lives to higher ways. Lift our gloom and desperation, show the promise of this day. Help us bind ourselves in union, help our hands tell of our love. With thine aid, O fount of justice, earth be fair as heaven above. So, I ask you to join your voice in union with me, rise